Nice. Really good foot. Okay, mate, so we can see, the alignment and stance all pretty good, but we're extremely upright here. Okay, and we'll see later that leads to, a lot of sort of arms and hands in the swing and very little legs and body rotation, and that's what we're going to try and do. Okay, so from there, the way you're trying to swing the club and that is fine. Maybe a little bit locked out, a little bit deep in that right leg, so we could probably strengthen that just a little bit. But it's a bit narrow and armsy and wristy. Okay, and then on the way down, same thing, and very little leg work. Okay, and then we can see there that face shutting down just a little bit. That's what I'd spoken to you about on the first hole. Okay, so here's the one on 3. Obviously we got over for the first time, which is great. That's because we had learned how to strike the ball a bit better. But in terms of the basics, fundamentals, how we're going to try and swing the club. Okay, once again the stance, very upright, and you can see the weight on the heels. Okay, so we've got to try and get those feet more underneath you and more forward bend. Okay, and then from there we're going to use a little more body and create some width in the swing and not just be so wristy and armsy. Okay, let's just go through it. Okay, again a little lockout there on the right leg, but again it's more about the arms and the wrists overriding the body work. Okay, very narrow there. Okay, very narrow there. With all that stuff, I mean, you get the club into a really good delivery position, and you do keep your chest and head over the ball really, 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 really well. Okay, so I think those changes will work nicely. Hey matey, thanks for the game. It was a lot of fun out there. Okay, so obviously we've got a bit of work to do, and that's why we're here. So what we want to do is kind of work on one or two things in sort of each department of the game. So, whatever the shot you're hitting, you've got your 2 little focus points that you need to work on. Okay, and if you are going to practice, then obviously the same. Okay, we're going to start at the tee box. I'm going to keep driver and irons pretty much the same. Okay, obviously once we tee that driver the correct height, then you hit it beautifully, much further and quite long. And don't worry about the couple that are going a little right. Okay. As long as they're not going left and they're not mishit, then we're okay. Alright? Which brings us then to the irons or the fairway shots, full swings I'm talking about. Okay, so obviously we spoke about it out there and you hit some lovely shots. The most important thing to do is to learn that the club must brush the grass, okay, and that the face must release nice and square. We don't want to swing up and shut the face. We don't want to swing up and shut the face. Okay, now, in order to technically make that happen more often, okay, this is a couple of things we've got to work on, right? First thing is the setup. And again, this includes the driver. Alright, so you saw in that video there, okay, it's very upright and the swing's a little bit armsy and narrow. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the point. Okay, so we've got to learn how to back up, create a little bit of forward bend. Okay, get the weight to move slightly forward in the feet. Feel like the chest, okay, is pointing more to the golf ball. Right, that's going to set up a little more space for you, okay, to swing those arms, but also to swing the club correctly on line. Okay, from there, okay, so once we've got that idea, your backswing and stuff is okay, it's pretty good. So from there, we've got to learn how to get into, drive into that left leg, and then use our body, our hips, core, and shoulders to go around. That's not only going to square the golf club, it's also going to help the club cut through that grass. Okay, so set up with more tilt, chest over the golf ball. Okay, then once we've made that backswing, drive in and around. Okay, set up with more tilt. Once we've made that backswing, drive in and around. Okay, and you're just going to keep doing that over and over and over and over. Okay? Right, bunkers, obviously we spoke about bunkers there on the second hole, and then you had a lot of bunker practice, okay, so then it got much, much better. I do think you can stand a bit wider in the bunkers, okay, and then keep doing exactly what we're doing, and just try and hit the sand at a consistent point, okay. About a ball or so behind is good, okay, so don't hit one here, one there, one there, one there, okay, hit the sand at the same place every time with that little open face that we're practicing. Alright? Okay, then around the greens, I want you to understand the strike and stuff is the same, but I want you to understand the difference between chipping and pitching. Okay, so chipping is sort of right next to the green, sort of 3-4 meters of green or rough to carry, and then landing on the green and rolling. Okay, so once again, in the left leg, you can see I'm sort of lower there, I can't let the head go back. Okay, in the left leg. Alright, and now what we're going to do with chipping, yes, we're brushing the ground. Okay, and we keep that club moving. But what we want to do is we want to match the backswing and the follow through. Okay, so we want to go something like that. And you hear that bounce. Okay, it's cutting through nicely. Okay, you can see I'm using my chest to help me. That's your chipping. Okay, there's going to be those little round and green shots. When you get a little bit further, we're going to go over a little bunker or something like that. Sort of 20, 25, 30 meters, that type of thing. Okay, then it's a similar technique at strike and still using your 60. Okay, but now we're going to go sort of there. Okay, a little more into the left knee, and we're going to equalize it this side. Okay, so whatever we do this side, we do the same that side. Okay, that's going to get your touch close to what you want. Okay, and then again, as I said, over time, the more you're striking the ball better, the better that feel is going to get, so you start hitting them in the correct distance. Okay, and then lastly, putting. Okay, I actually like your putting. I don't want to change anything. I like the grip. I like the routine, the alignment, the stroke, everything. Okay, so it's got to work a little bit on your distance control. Okay, some of it obviously is green reading. Okay, but you've got to work a little bit on your distance control. Maybe on those downhill ones, take a little bit of that hit out of the stroke. So just soften the hands a little bit. Okay, but it's just time, practice, okay, and reading the greens. Okay, so when you're reading the greens, don't only read the line, right to left, left to right. Okay, you've got to read the speed. Okay, so I want you to use a speed ratio of 5. Okay, so 3 in that ratio is a flat, normal putt. Whether it's 1 meter, 5 meters, 10 meters, but it's all flat, so it's a medium pace putt, that's 3. Okay, then 1, okay, is an extremely uphill putt, so very, very slow, big slope. 2 is a little bit uphill. Okay, 4 is a little bit downhill, and then 5 is very downhill, very fast. Okay, so read your line, right to left, and then give it a speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what speed are you trying to hit it? Okay, and then you can start dialing in your feel that way. Okay, so there's all your stuff to work on. Okay, obviously we'll be in touch, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks again.